We open with our protagonist, Arase. The teacher called him in about him not submitting last week's homework. He carelessly said yes. The teacher got mad and told him that he needs to get his life together because recently he's been coming to class late and he also sleeps through most of them. Arase explains that it's because he's been working overtime for his part-time job. After all, those bills don't pay themselves. The teacher encourages him to quit the job if it's hindering his studies. She then hands him an apology letter and tells him to submit his homework with this paper tomorrow. Arase walks back to class, and as he opens the door, he sees his friend and his girlfriend acting unholy in the middle of the class. His friend feels bad for him for needing to deal with Yoshitaka-sensei because she's a strict teacher. He then adds that's why she isn't married yet. He went back to acting all lovey-dovey with his girlfriend, which irritates Arase. His friend tells him to just get a girlfriend if he's jealous, but Arase is on that grind set, and he doesn't have time for that, since he's got to carry the boats and the logs. Arase secured the bag and went back to his apartment. He then sees his teacher, Yoshitaka, waiting for him. She told him he's late. She then threatened to sue the place he works at for overworking a high schooler like him. Arase tells her that he already told her he's going to be home late. Yoshitaka shyly says she wants to see him anyway, and she also made him some oden. Arase gets excited and Yoshitaka gets mad that he's happier about the oden than seeing her. He hugs her and lets her know that he's also happy to see her. He then tries to sneak in a kiss, but she stops him. She reminded him that she's a teacher, and she can't engage in such ungodly behavior with a student. Arase asks if she really isn't going to date him until he's 20, to which she proudly says, of course. Arase then hands her his spare key. Yoshitaka saw this, and she had a 1v1 action with the voices in her head, and luckily, she was able to dodge all its skill shots, in this case, jail time, and came out on top. She tells Arase that she's also been holding back from doing illegal actions that'll put her behind bars, but Arase is too busy stuffing his face with food that he didn't pay attention to her. She tells him to reheat the food since it must have gone cold by now, but he likes the coldness since it reflects how long Yoshitaka has been waiting for him. She smiles, and he tells her that a lot of people have been saying that she'll never get married. She tells him to ignore them, but Arase thinks she'll be a fantastic bride. Yoshitaka heard this and blushed so hard she started steaming. She reminded Arase about his homework and quickly drove off like she was Dominic Toretto going to a family reunion. The next day, Arase again didn't do his homework. He told her that the oden made him sleepy last night. She gets mad that he blamed the oden, but Arase told her to be thankful since he gave her a reason to call him in. She blushes and tells him to write 5 apology letters. Arase got back to class and found out that his friend had broken up with his girlfriend. He then invites Arase to go to a mixer and get some girls. Yoshitaka hears this and stops to listen to Arase's answer, and Arase declines his invitation. Yoshitaka is relieved to hear this, but his friend tells him he'll pay for everything. Arase changed his mind and thought about getting to eat free food. Yoshitaka stepped in and reminded Arase about his homework. She then asks his friend Sakota to not interrupt someone who's studying, and Sakota quickly left the room. Arase asked if she heard everything. She tried playing it cool, acting like she didn't. Arase then told her about his friend inviting him to a mixer. He said it probably wouldn't be a problem for him to go there since he doesn't have a girlfriend. Yoshitaka gets stunned hearing this, but Arase says he would be able to decline if he had a girlfriend as looks at her. He brought her outside and told her he'll go to the mixer if she don't become his girlfriend. But she pushed him away, telling him to wait for 3 more years. Arase then tells her that it should be okay for him to go to a mixer then, since they don't have anything going on between them. Yoshitaka starts crying and tells him to do whatever he wants if he wants to go so badly. Arase puts his hands on her shoulders and tells her that he was just joking, and in reality, he's only interested in one thing, which is the free food. He then asks for a kiss to settle this. Yoshitaka tries to push him away, but this time she isn't able to dodge all the skill shots and ends up losing to the voices. As they both are about to kiss, Arase's phone starts buzzing. He checks his phone and finds out his friend is back with his girlfriend, and he canceled their plan to go to a mixer. Yoshitaka is happy to hear this and left the room. She fell to her knees as she got out because she took Bruce Lee's quote to heart and turned into water and gone with the flow which almost flowed her right into prison. In the morning, Arase came late to school, and Yoshitaka-sensei gets angry at him. He tries to get on her good side and calls her cute, but she told him it isn't going to work. Arase gets sad that she hasn't been visiting him lately. Yoshitaka explains that she doesn't have a lot of free time, and she told Arase to get to class. While taking his exam, Yoshitaka-sensei fell asleep and quickly got back up and tried to keep herself awake. Midterms are finally over and Arase is celebrating, but he won't be celebrating much longer when those D+ starts rolling in. Sakota invites Arase to go to karaoke with his girlfriend to celebrate. Arase decides to go even though it means third wheeling because at least Sakota is paying for everything. Sakota and his girlfriend then starts rickrolling us. Meanwhile, Arase is just stuffing himself with food. Arase got home and cries about wanting to see Yoshitaka-sensei, and his wish came true. 'Cause bro got a 35 on his midterm, Yoshitaka tells him to take a break from his part-time job because he got the lowest score in his class. She starts tutoring him because someone with a brain can't get this low. As she's teaching him, she falls asleep. Arase asks if she just fell asleep just now, but she denies the "I fell asleep" allegations. Arase tells her that it's fine for her to sleep, but she wouldn't be sleeping in times like these. Arase then notices her trying to keep her eyes open. He got up and sat beside her as he put her head on his lap and told her to take a nap since she's been so busy, but she said sleeping will be a waste since she finally got to meet him. Arase teases her, and she absolutely did not let this slide as she hits Arase with a black flash that causes his face to swell up. Arase said he'll wait for her since he don't have to go to work today. Yoshitaka says she'll finish everything as quickly as possible, but she fell asleep again. At work, Arase's co-worker, Hieta, tells him how much he admires him since Brolo's on that grind set. Arase tells him to get up and do his job. Hieta got up and claims that he got the infinite Riz glitch, and if he were to serve a customer, they'll instantly fall for him. Bro must have forgotten to take his pills today. He looks at the time and asks if it's okay for a high schooler to be working at this hour. Arase explains that it's not legal, but he begs the owner to let him work overtime. Besides, he lives by himself, so he needs it to pay them bills. Hieta gets jealous that he gets to live alone since he can bring girls over any time, but Arase is in his Sigma Chad phase, so he doesn't have time for that. Hieta encourages him to have a love life at a young age, because being able to fall in love without money is a privilege only youngsters have. Just then, Yoshitaka walks into the store. Arase quickly hides and tells Hieta that it's his school teacher. He wants Hieta to cover for him since she'll get mad if she sees him. Yoshitaka walks up to the counter with a very friendly attitude and asks if a boy by the name of Arase is still working here. Hieta acts clueless, and Yoshitaka tells him that it's against the law to keep a high schooler at work past 10. Hieta tells her that Arase left a while ago. Yoshitaka gets surprised since he didn't accept her call and he isn't at his house. Hieta then tries using his godly unspoken Riz he brags about on Yoshitaka, but Arase hits him in the foot. Yoshitaka slams the counter and tells him now isn't the time for him to be rizzing her up. She tells him to call the police since Arase might have been kidnapped. She starts trembling at the thought of Arase being in danger. Hieta tries calming her, but she gets even more mad that he's acting so calm when one of their workers is missing. Arase saw this and decided to crawl to a quiet place to call her. He opened his phone and got that feeling of fear when you see 13 missed calls from your mom, telling you to be home in 10 minutes but you still haven't left your friend's place. Yoshitaka decides to call the police herself, but her phone rings, and it's Arase. He explains to her that something came up and he's staying over at Sakotan's place. Yoshitaka falls to the ground, crying in relief. She then apologizes for causing a commotion and walks away. Hieta once again tries rizzing her with his infinite Riz glitch, but she instantly turns him down. Calm down, Hieta, they already patched it, buddy. Arase got back, and Hieta tells him that telling a woman a lie is a heartbreaking thing. Arase felt guilty hearing this and ran out to meet his sensei. Yoshitaka gets angry at him for lying to her, and explains to him that if he has to go to school while working this much, it'll ruin his body. Arase hugs her from behind and apologizes to her. She tells him to write 5 apology letters and gets in her car. Before she drives off, she tells him that if he ever does this again, she'll suspend him and their relationship will be over. While walking back, Arase sees a necklace that he wants to get her to make her happy, but his sensei would probably be mad if he gave her something expensive. The next day, Sensei is getting mad in the teacher's office since our boy Arasai didn't turn in his homework once again. Suddenly an English teacher asks if it's that time of the month for her too. She says every day is a safe day for her, so she's envious of her. The English teacher is Igarashi Hifumi, and oh my lord, the things I would do to be in her class. Yoshitaka-sensei yells at her for dressing inappropriately and calling herself a teacher. Hifumi explains that she's too strict, and that's why she'll never get married. Sometimes she just gotta take a chill pill and lay back a little. Hifumi encourages her to show more of her body since by just exposing a bit of her chesticles she's able to make students more obedient. Okay, I'm pretty sure this is jail time behavior, but if I'm the student, I ain't complaining. Yoshitaka asks what's her plan by showing her mommy milkers to her student, but Hifumi tells her not to worry because she wouldn't do anything to her students after all. She wants a guy who makes 10 million yen a year. That's roughly $70,000. Hifumi reveals that she got something going on with a doctor she met at a mixer. Yoshitaka hears this and reveals that she also has someone she's seeing. Yoshitaka panics because she didn't mean to say that, and quickly tells her that he isn't her boyfriend. They're just intimate. Hifumi gave her a smug look and asked if they ever had judo practice in bed. Yoshitaka gets shy and yells at her. Hifumi asks what's weird about that. She then explains that the only way men and women develop their relationship is through gland-to-gland combat. Yoshitaka faints after hearing this because their relationship is very different. Hifumi then tells her that if she always has her guard up, eventually the guy will leave her. At least she should let him touch her twin calcium pack. Okay, this is disgusting for her to think that men only wants a girl just to grab their milk factories. Because in reality, we're also interested in planets, thighs, and many more. Yoshitaka got home and made food for Arase. And while doing this, she starts worrying since she's doing everything that Hifumi tells her not to do. She tries brushing it off, but realizes that she does have more experience than her. She looks at her milk cannons and tries to remove the thought of it. She finished making her Chinese steamed buns that I would have to censor because the YouTube safety team might mistake this for some type of toy. Arase looks at it and thought that these buns look oddly familiar, kind of like something he sees in his educational magazines that he reads with one hand. He took a bite and thought that they were great. Yoshitaka suddenly asks if he likes soft milk pillows. Bro almost choked on them buns hearing this and told her that there isn't anyone who doesn't. Yoshitaka gets shy and turns around. She then removes her coat and tells him to bring it on. And oh my, I thought she got them fun-size blasters, but those look pretty medium. And you know what they say? Medium is premium. Arase gets confused, and Yoshitaka yells at him, telling him he's allowed to touch them. Yoshitaka thinks he's just not interested in hers. That's why he isn't doing anything. She starts crying and explains that she's always holding him back from doing such things, and thought that at this rate he'll hate her and leave her. Arase puts his hand on her and tells her that he won't hate her over such things. She then asks if he's still okay with it even if he gets to keep his V card. He hugs her and tells her he doesn't care about that, and she shouldn't look down on his feelings for her. Besides, he's a man of culture, and he's a planet enjoyer kind of guy. He then grabs her Venus. She got mad and turned him into a punching bag, telling him she didn't allow him to grab her cheeks. The both of them hugged, and Yoshitaka thought if this isn't enough, Arase asks, why is she making a wistful face? She denies doing so and walks to her car. But Arase asks her to go for a walk, to which she agrees. Arase grabs her hand and she starts panicking, fearing others might see them, but Arase tells her that it's a request from her student. After hearing this, she agrees. Arase tells her that her willpower isn't so strong since she always ends up doing what he wants. Arase points to the moon and Yoshitaka says it's beautiful. Arase asks if that was a confession of love, since the moon is beautiful is a translation of I love you. Yoshitaka was surprised that Arase would know of such anecdotes. They sat on a bench and Sensei said saying the moon is beautiful is weird because it doesn't convey your feelings at all. Arase then asks how would she translate it. Yoshitaka's mind is just filled with the straightforward way, so she quickly turns the table and asks how would he translate it. Arase explains that he's still young, so he doesn't know what love is. He rests his head on Yoshitaka's shoulder and asks her to teach him about it, but she pushes him back and tells him she'll teach him once he gets older. It starts snowing and they both sneezed at the same time. Arase then brings her closer to him to keep her warm. They both look at the moon and says it's beautiful. Arase gets up and tells her this is too embarrassing and suggests they head back. She laughs, and they both hold hands as they walk back. As they're walking, Yoshitaka tells him that he definitely conveyed his feelings of love, and Arase starts blushing. This chapter really just called me single in 16 languages while giving me all kinds of diabetes. While Yoshitaka is walking at school, she gets pulled by Arase, and he hugs her, telling her he needs to recharge his energy before heading off to work. Yoshitaka gets nervous that someone might see them like this. Just then, Sakota asks Arase to go home together, but Arase tells him he has something to do so he can go ahead. Sakota and his girl went ahead and wondered what Arase had to do. Arase looks back and asks if Yoshitaka is okay. Honestly, she looks like she's stuck and could use a bit of his help, if you know what I mean. Yoshitaka tells him it isn't the time to be doing something like this, but Arase ignores her and continues to hug her. Just then, they hear a door lock noise. They both stopped and went to open the door, but the door's locked, because that's what it means when you hear a door lock noise. Yoshitaka panics, but Arase found this as an opportunity to spend more alone time with her. Yoshitaka starts worrying since she's got plenty of work to do. She then asks Arase to call his friends because she forgot her phone. Arase tries calling Sakota, but he didn't pick up. He calls another person and tells Yoshitaka that it's doomed because no one is picking up. Yoshitaka is surprised that he only has 2 friends. Okay, calm down, Yoshitaka, that's 2 more friends than me. Arase starts crying for help, but Yoshitaka-sensei stops him, telling him it'll be bad if they see us together. Arase agrees and suggests she hide. It's starting to get dark, and no one has walked past the room they're in. Yoshitaka peeks out and sees Arase sleeping. She's surprised to see him sleeping in such situation. She crawls to him and starts poking his face, and he's still asleep. She then came to the realization that this is the perfect time for her to get him back for all the things he's done. She puts her hands up and got close to him. Turns out she just buttoned him up. She saw him drooling and almost touched his lips. She realized this and recoiled back. She calms herself and looks back at him. She starts touching his lips and thought that they were soft. Suddenly Arase woke up. He asks what she was doing. She told him she didn't do anything and she fell back, causing Arase to end up on top of her. Arase starts tickling her for taking advantage of him while he was asleep. Sensei starts laughing like crazy and tells him to stop. The janitor heard this and walked up to open the door, but he only sees Arase sitting by himself. He gets confused since he could have sworn he heard a female voice. Arase gaslight his way through, and the janitor walked away. Arase helped Yoshitaka up and gets happy since he got to see how cute his sensei was. Yoshitaka arrives at Arase's house and hands him a box of karaage, which is fried chicken. Arase says he loves these. Yoshitaka is glad to hear this and says goodbye. Before she got in her car, she looked back at him. She then asks if he's forgetting something. Arase got confused since it's not her birthday or their anniversary, and besides, he had also submitted all his homework. He asks for hints, and Yoshitaka starts rubbing her body and tells him that it's cold today. Then Arase, with his Einstein brain, puts all the pieces together and brought out a pot he forgot to return her, explaining that having food cooked in a pot is the best thing to have on a cold day. Yoshitaka blushes and told him that warm food is nice, but there's an easier way to get warm. Arase finally realizes that she wants a hug. He gave her a sly look and invites her inside his house. Yoshitaka gets shocked and starts throwing a tantrum, telling him that it's the same thing they always do. But Arase continues to act clueless and asks her to tell him what is it that she wants from him. Yoshitaka says she could never say such things to a student. Arase smiles and tells her that if she wants it that bad, she could always give it herself anytime she wants. He opens up his arms and waits for her, but Yoshitaka blushes and runs back into her car. She then rows down her window and asks for her fried chicken back, and drives away. The next day at school, Arase is feeling hungry and bumps into the teacher with them mega milk blasters. He looks right into her eyes and accidentally calls her meat dumpling. Arase then looks into the classroom and sees Yoshitaka-sensei getting scolded for being late. Arase meets Yoshitaka in supplementary classes again. Yoshitaka says she's been thinking about yesterday and agreed with Arase that she should have done it herself, instead of always imposing it on him. She starts calling herself a coward and starts crying. Arase tries to comfort her, but she puts her head on the desk and says she's too embarrassed to live on. Arase then asks if this is why she slept late last night. Yoshitaka explains that in order to protect herself, she has always put all the blame on Arase, which is wrong, so she got up and goes in to hug Arase. But Arase hits her with a step back, breaking her ankles, and ends it with a three-pointer. He then apologizes for what he did yesterday. Just then, they both look out the little window and sees Hifumi. They all got shocked, and Yoshitaka activated her self-defense system and quickly ran out to explain to her that it's not what it looks like, and that everything is completely one-sided from Arase. Hifumi sighs in relief because she actually thought the two had something going on. Yoshitaka apologized to Arase, and when he got home, she brought him his fried chicken, which made Arase a happy man. As she's walking back to her car, Arase hugs her from behind, reminding her that she forgot something, making Yoshitaka blush. The next day, Hifumi hands Yoshitaka a cup of coffee and asks what is she going to do about Arase. Yoshitaka puts up her defense mechanism and explains that they're not in that kind of relationship. But Hifumi thinks that Arase does not think the same as her. She got close to her and told her to be careful, otherwise they might end up in that kind of relationship. Although it'll be quite interesting to see, Hifumi said. Yoshitaka puts on her serious face and tells her that Arase is no more than a student. Hifumi believes her since she also mentioned that she's seeing someone. Yoshitaka decides to have more self-control and act more like they're in a student and teacher relationship. Just then, Arase calls her. She answers the call while talking like an NPC. Arase tells her that there's nothing important, and he just wants to hear her voice. Yoshitaka starts blushing, but she's able to fight the voices in her head and tells him that private conversations with students are forbidden and ends the call. Arase gets confused about what just happened. Meanwhile, Yoshitaka is proud of herself for being able to fight the temptations. Yoshitaka got home and started cooking. She realized that she made too much food, so now she's got to bring it over to Arase's house and started smiling. But she stops herself since she shouldn't be getting excited about it. She tries to treat every student equally, but helping a student in need is also what teachers do. So she got dressed up, but she stops herself again since she's just using the fact that Arase is poor as an excuse to meet him. In the end, she didn't give it to him. She walks past his class and sees him eating only a bread since bro's on that budget life. Besides, the bread has the same amount of calories as the food, and it's also way cheaper. But in the end, Arase got hungry in class and sleeps the hungriness away. He got home and thought it was weird that Yoshitaka-sensei didn't call him even though he didn't submit his work, and he slept through the entire lesson. He checks his DMs and realizes that she even left him on read. Damn, he just like me. But mine says, user not found. Not too sure what that means. He calls her and hears a phone ringing from the other side of his door. He opens the door and sees a pot on the ground with his sensei walking away. She tries running away but got stuck in the pile of snow. Arase pulls her out and asks why is she avoiding him, but she denies doing so. Arase thought that maybe she hates him now. Yoshitaka says she has no hatred toward her students. Arase gets confused and tells her that he loves her, making Yoshitaka flustered and saying it's unfair. Arase then says he loves her no matter what. Yoshitaka lost to her desires and asks Arase to repeat it one more time. Arase calls her greedy and she gets shy and turns away saying that she doesn't want to hear it anyways. Arase then hugs her and says, I love you to her once more, making Yoshitaka feel some type of way. Arase then asks how she feels. She quickly turns away and told him she'll tell him once he's an adult and drives off. The following day, everyone in the teacher's office gets scared seeing Yoshitaka yell at Arase for doing badly in school. As Arase walks away, Hifumi looks at him and thought that maybe bro's the submissive and breedable kind of guy. She calls Yoshitaka strict, and she says it's for the sake of his future, to which Hifumi calls it the whip of love. Yoshitaka gets embarrassed and tells her to stop making fun of her. She sighs and hopes that 3 years would go by faster. To be honest, I want the English teacher so bad.